Greetings fellow ukuleleans, Jeff Weinberger coming at you here with a new ukulele tutorial. Actually part 2 of a previous ukulele tutorial. We were talking about Chad and Jeremy's Summer Song from 1964. Great oldie, kind of a folk rock sounding song, really mellow. Wasn't really the kind of raucous thing you had like Little Richard and Chuck Berry and Jerry Lee Lewis and some of the stuff. Bill Haley in the comments said had come out of the 50s and some of the early Beatles stuff that had a lot of kind of electric energy to it. This was definitely a mellow kind of hit, easy listening almost. But beautiful precursor of the folk rock to come. Harmonies like the Mamas and the Papas, Simon and Garfunkel, Crosby, Stills and Nash, that whole Laurel Canyon movement of the 60s. This song definitely had an influence on that, but this was before that. This was before the mid to late 60s. This was a kind of early 60s sound. All right, so we had talked about the intro, we had talked about the verse. Let's get right into the bridge. This is a fairly elaborate part, but let's start right at the beginning of the bridge. So we have got a D chord for a whole measure, and now they switch over to like a calypso strum for this part. But, you know, you could use the original strum that we had from before. One of those was down, up, down, and then a deadened strum like this. Down, up, down, and then you could call it a chuck or a funk. So that would work like this. Different ways to strum that. So the chords for the bridge are D for a whole measure, E for a whole measure, A for a whole measure, and F sharp minor for a whole measure. An awful lot like I Want to Hold Your Hand by the Beatles, the bridge in that song. And when I touch you, I feel happy inside. So a lot like that. I wonder if that was a coincidence or a direct influence. Who knows? I don't think there were any lawsuits, so probably the Beatles didn't mind that it sounded so much like I Want to Hold Your Hand. So again, D, E, A, and F sharp minor. In case you don't know it, F sharp minor is 2, 1, 2, 0. Then we go B minor, 4, 2, 2, 2. E, and then hold F sharp minor for 4 beats, plus another 3 beats, 7 beats altogether. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and then on the last beat of that bar, they hit a E chord. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. F sharp minor for 7 beats, E for a single beat, adding up to 8 beats. Here's that whole 8-bar section. Then they go into a serious calypso rhythm here, and we're going to be doing A, C sharp 7. In case you don't know it, there's a couple ways to do it. One way is 4, 5, 4, 4, or you could do 1, 1, 1, 2. It's a little lower sounding, the 1, 1, 1, 2, and the 4, 5, 4, 4 is a little higher sounding. Your choice, whatever you like. I'll use the 4, 5, 4, 4 just for now. So here's that other bridge section, the second half of the bridge section. Then we'll talk about it. And then they just go into a verse at that point. So talking about that half of the bridge, it's A, C sharp 7, F sharp minor, and then a split measure between C sharp minor and B minor. C sharp minor being 6, 4, 4, 4, B minor being 2 frets lower than that, 4, 2, 2, 2. Then you hold for a whole note an F sharp minor chord, 1, 2, 3, 4. You hold an E chord for a whole note. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you do that F sharp minor for 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you do the E, but you only do it for 2 beats. 1, 2, because you have a walk up coming, which is, and that walk up is 0, 0, 2, 4. And then we're into the verse. And the verse this time goes 4 times. So that's the 3 times. And then we have a lick. And that lick is simply leads into yet another bridge. Let me show you that lick real quick. We have, didn't mean to rhyme there, but I'll show you that lick real quick. It's your open A string, played twice, and then the 2nd fret of your E string, and then we do a little trill, a hammer-on pull-off combination on our E string from the open string to the 2nd fret. So you hammer on from the open to the 2nd, pull back off to the open, like that. Triplet. That leads to the 1st fret of your C string, and finally, for that measure, an open E string and a 4th fret E string. These are rather tedious when you have tutorial videos where the teacher describes each and every little note and each and every fret and each and every string and what finger to use, and that can get a little boring, so I'm going to spare you that. I will tab it out. We will have it in great detail. I will give you the exact sheet that I'm reading from on Patreon, so you can see it. You'll see the tab, you'll see all the chords, so I'll spare you the description of that single note lick. But let me play it fast at the regular speed, then I'll play it slow. And then if you want any more info, you'll have to download the tab. And here it is slow. If you have a low G string, you'll be able to put some of the notes down an octave. Some of the ones that I raised up an octave out of necessity, having a re-entrant tuning. Low G people can play this without having to change the octave. So if you're not sure what I'm saying, if that doesn't make sense to you, that's okay. Just skip that. Don't worry about it. Play it the way that I have it tabbed out. But for those of you that are into low G, you'll figure it out. You'll figure out a way to get some of those lower notes that they get on the guitar. All right, let's finish up by doing the last bridge, which is D, E, A, F sharp minor, D, E. Now we hold F sharp minor for 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, E. 7 beats plus 1 beat of E. Then all you got to do is play your verse for 5 times. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. That part. And we slow down on the 5th time, so you kind of do a ritardando there. And you end on an F sharp major chord, which is surprising, but I'll explain why they did that. F sharp major, in case you don't know it, it is 3, 1, 2, 1. Little bar chord there. That's known as the Picardy third. That's a very common thing in classical music. There were composers of that era, of the Baroque, early Baroque era, that wrote a lot of music, and they happened to be from the region of France called Picardy. And in Picardy, they liked the king and the royalty and the people paying for the music. They liked to hear a nice, bright, happy major chord at the end of a piece, even if the whole thing was in a minor key, even if it was like in F sharp minor. They like to hear a major chord the end to brighten things up. So that's known as the Picardy third. And Chad and Jeremy were hip to that. They did it at the end of this song. All right, ukulele people, I hope you enjoyed that. Any details that I didn't do in my haste of trying to do a quick video here, I will have on the tablature sheet. I'll try to write it out nice and neat and give you a nice crisp copy of it on my Patreon, and you can download it by clicking on the link right below. Be sure and like, be sure and subscribe, be sure and click the notify bell, and be aware that I am going to be switching this YouTube channel over to a new YouTube channel starting March 4th, and I will put a link down below to that new channel so you can get to it real easy. And I hope all of you great subscribers come on over to the new channel with me, and it'll be exciting. So I hope to see you over there in March, and in the meantime we'll have lots of these tutorials on this old channel. All right, ukulele people, you take care. Bye-bye.